besides PR, you obviously do some other work at Lola, but that's obviously the primary thing. Do you think that with general marketing and social media and PR kind of being jumbled together now, that it's become kind of a gray area, or do you think it's still pretty clearly defined that each does their own thing separately?
I think that the waters can get very muddy. I think that essentially in business, every company, no matter what your size is, should be executing elements of each of the specialties. So, and if you are doing them all, your chances of success are so much greater because they all work together. So a PR campaign shouldn't be the element that's talking about your advertising campaigns per se, but they need to all know what's going on to be hitting on the sort of same cylinders. That needs to complement your marketing outreach, and obviously your social needs to be part of it as well. If a company is highly aware, the smartest and the best ones, they're doing this so you can watch the great companies and see how to do it well. If you're doing all of those things, it should be complementing and melding together. There are a lot of people in the agency world right now that are sort of like meshing and saying that they're doing all of the things, which you can. You actually can. Is that always the best practice for success? I don't really know. Where I have found success is by knowing what we do really well, which I think that there are two elements. I think it's media relations, which is taking a client's information to the media. I think we do social media very nicely as well. Once you get into advertising, we have to bring in marketing partners.
Sure.
That is their specialty, and so they help serve us on those accounts.
Okay. Now, I know with your company that you handle both profit and nonprofit, and some people might think, okay, profit, of course, you want to make money, you want to pay the bills. Tell us a little bit about nonprofit. What drove you in to get involved with nonprofit organizations also?
Actually, thankfully, I come from a family that has always given more than it is ever expected in return. And so I have two parents whom, from the time that I was born on, whether it was an established nonprofit that they gave their money to, or if it was the person on the street that just needed help, that is how I was raised.
Okay.
You treat everyone with kindness and you help, because if you have the fortune in the world to have something and somebody else is of need, you need to give. So that's how I was raised. Even today, my parents are retired and probably spend 25 to 40 hours a week giving to others. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
When I first moved to Minnesota, Minnesota's a tough town. It's a tough town for the newbies. So I try to make every newbie feel as at home as they possibly can. But I got involved with an organization called Smile Network International. And Smile Network International, I just decided that I needed to give, and so I gave them of my work. I gave them my life. I got my parents involved, I got my friends involved, but what I got in return was so much greater, and it's truly because when you give, the giver becomes the receiver.
Yeah.
And so by giving of all of that, I got a network of friends that are still my friends today. These people connected me to the fabric and the people of Minnesota. They gave me the opportunity to volunteer in countries around the world. So last year I was in Africa helping a village of people, which is amazing. So I have gotten so much more from it.
I bet, yeah.
In terms of, as a company who we represent, obviously we have, some nonprofits actually have a budget for PR. We do give them special rates, which is helpful. Some of them, each year we pick 3 nonprofits that fit sort of our pillar causes and what we believe in, so we give them our services pro bono and help them as much as we can. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our world, and if we can be part of organizations that are making the world a better place, then I feel as if I've actually done my job as a human being, not just as a publicist and business owner.
That's wonderful. Yeah, more people need to do that. I also want to congratulate you on your success with Smashburger. I get their weekly emails about all the updates. How did that relationship start? That obviously has been a company that's one of the few burger places who have been growing and really getting a foothold into what's, you know, been more traditionally fast food. They're not really fast food. It's kind of that in between, like with Chipotle and stuff, where it's handmade and you appreciate the food more.
So Smashburger, we were actually engaged with Smashburger to open their first location in Minnesota. It was in St. Anthony, Minnesota. Smashburger, Minneapolis, or the Twin Cities, these are actually corporate markets for them.
Oh,
so they're
okay.
based out of Denver. They decided that Minnesota was going to be a success. I mean, it looked like a successful atmosphere for their concept. The founder also happens to have family in Minnesota.
Okay.
So they reached out to me. At the time, we were engaged when they had 7 stores. Over time, we've opened hundreds of locations for them. We were engaged just to do Minnesota media, but then I think they realized and we realized that we were doing a good job and that we were leading all of their other PR firms, so they just continued and extended their engagement with us, which was wonderful. In addition, their founder, Tom Ryan, he's a remarkable human being, and I'm blessed to call him my friend and my professional associate, and that he's just a brilliant, brilliant guy. And so he does some of the best interviews in the world, and for me, as a publicist, it is the greatest honor to pitch somebody that you know. If you are a media person, this guy is going to blow your mind because he's so good.
Can handle it.
So it has just always been a really nice synergy, and I mean, we kind of grew along with Smashburger, which was really wonderful.